I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's reel is going to be this Haidong, I guess I'm trying to pronounce this as best I can, Haidong Master 805 reel. And I saw this on eBay and it looked like a perfect candidate for something that I would do. So I picked it up and it's got some really nice features on it. It's a heavy duty. They say it's a heavy HD, which I'm assuming stands for heavy duty 805 reel, and made by Master. And I really like the reel. It's heavy, but it really could use some shimming, I believe, because the gears have a tendency to grind inside it. The anti-reverse override is functional, although very, very tight. Nope, the anti-reverse is not functional. Okay, so how about the bail trip? Does it trip? No, does not. Once it's, let's see if I can, let's manually adjust it. Yeah, it does not trip. So I have a viewer that has contacted me who would like to buy some of the really pig reels that I get hold of, because he does an amazing job of doing his own restoration work on reels. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you a picture right now. That is, I believe, a Mitchell 302 that he redid and repainted, and it's gorgeous. I think he did an excellent job on it. I thought I got all this line off. I got another piece up here. It still hadn't come off. There we go. Now I've got all the line, but you can see it's got some corrosion stuff in here, a little bit here and there. I did strip the line off of it when I got it. This bail is pretty tight. The anti-reverse on it is not working. So I'm going to see how far I can take this, but look at the paint on the foot and stuff. I think this is going to be a prime candidate for me to send to Ken and let him do a restoration on. I'll give him the reel. I bought it to do this video, so we're going to do the video on how to take it apart and service it. But I'm not going to repaint this reel and all that, or I might shim it up on the gears to see if I can make them, or if you can find out if they're any good. Well, let's get started on see this. Well, the drag works. Yeah, but it doesn't always click. So let's take a look and see where we are. We'll start off by taking off the drag knob, and it looks fine. We'll take off. Okay, it's got a piece of, well, that doesn't seem to be on there correctly. Go on maybe that way? No? Well, that's really odd. I'm not sure that piece is correct for this. The reason being, it's not fit. This is concave down inside here. And this is kind of concave, but not really. So what this is going to do is this would sit. Oh, okay, I see. All right, I got it. If you look, this is going to lock to the shaft, okay? And being locked to the shaft, it doesn't spin on here, so that's not part of the drag there, okay? The drag pressure is on the top up here, so that just sits inside there and it locks it to that. And because, well, I was going to say we're going to be locked to the spool, but the spool is perfectly round inside. Is the spool locked? What do we got? Oh, that's not good. Oh. Oh, well, that explains that. Okay. Let's zoom in here a moment. If you look right here, the bottom half of this is broken off. Right there. Okay, that's our clicker cog for the top of this. All right, and that's going to, wow, it's also part of the drag system, because this is the drag washer, and it's supposed to sit down on top of there and provide us with drag, and it can't because it's missing half. So I believe that that's going to definitely create a fail there. Well, I'm going to be contacting Ken and see if he's still interested in this, even though this is broken like this. He might be able to fix this. I don't know. I will have to give it some thought and see exactly what he can do. I don't know how far I'm actually going to go with this reel, guys. This is an eBay purchase of mine, and I've been lucky with them so far for the most part. I've had some that have been disappointments. This, I don't know that there's anything I could do with that short of, and I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe this is supposed to be a push button spool. See how it's got the end of it right there? I believe that this reel is supposed to have a push button here on the end, but this does not move. I think that may be rust encased inside it, keeping it from moving. I might put it in vinegar to see if I can free that up. Wow, this is a disappointment. Well, okay, here's another feature of this reel. Let's see if that's froze up. Nope, it's not. That went in. Okay, that is a push button to allow your bail to fold down, which is very nice. I like when they add that feature on there. It's something that really doesn't cost them much to do, and it makes the reel much more user-friendly. That's pretty nice. Having that and the fold-down handle both, that's pretty good. I don't know if the fold-down handle works. It does. Look, there's the fold-down handle. So with this folded down, and that folded down, that makes the profile of this reel much smaller for storage. So, all right. Well, that's a bummer. I might be able to fix that, but I think I'm going to talk to Ken, see if Ken would like to try fixing this. I know I'm pretty sure he would like to try to repaint it. So I think viewer Ken is going to get this. This is not Ken, my real supplier guy. This is Ken, that is a viewer on YouTube who has asked that I sell him some reels. Well, I'm not planning to sell this to him. I'm going to give it to him, I think, and see what he can do with it. Okay, let's take the handle off. All right, it's nothing more than a screw in the side, or a bolt. It's got a screwdriver slot. Okay. It's got little plastic pieces here that help it lock into place. Aside from the damage that's been done to this is a nice little reel. I like it. Okay, the handle should come off at this point, and it does. Okay. And let's see what we can do. I'm going to break these free with a common. Oh, well, that didn't take much. Oh, that one is, though. Ooh. Okay, it's coming. All right, let's try this one over here. Okay, and since my wrist doesn't handle things very well anymore, I'm going to try to zip these out using my ratcheting. Oh, well, that's not pretty. That's not pretty at all. Okay, well, let's go ahead and take the shim washer off so we don't bend it up. There we go. And let's see if we can get, there we go. That's definitely going to have to go into some vinegar and see if we can clean the rust off of it. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm looking at there. Let's try to scrub that up a little bit right there. Well, hopefully that rusty screw is going to come out. I'm going to try to clean it a little bit. All right. Let's try my screwdriver now. Oh, good. It's going to come right out. All right, and now we should be able to get the axle shaft out. There we go. It's definitely got some rust corrosion on it. Let's see if we can take that. Okay, that come out just fine. All right. Okay. I might have to shim that further in or further out. I'm not sure which way it would need to go. Let's see what we got here. We got to take this nut off. And we should take the rotor off. Okay. Oh, my crosswind block fell out, by the way. Okay. Now, this is the anti-reverse clicker cog. And this is the anti-reverse right here. And it is pretty much frozen in place. So let's add a little lube to it. And wiggle it back and forth a little bit, see if it frees up. Yeah, it doesn't seem to want to just free up, so got corrosion in there. Let's go ahead and take this off so we can move this back and forth further. Yeah, it's starting to free up, but it really needs to come unscrewed out of there. And I'm afraid of breaking it if I put too much force on it while it's still corroded like that. Let's see what happens here. Okay. All right, that's turning. All right, let's take a look at the spring in here, how it's attached, or even if it's attached. Okay, it's right there in that corner. Let's blow this up so you can see it. Okay, see See that spring right there? Right there. Okay, this piece is going to fit. There we go. There we go. That has to go on the front side of it there, like that, and then hook over that piece right there, and then the screw goes in. But we're going to have to get the corrosion off of this for it to freely travel, and it's definitely, this is not it binding up because of old grease. This is it binding up because of corrosion. So we're going to have to get that off of there. Okay, let's take a look at our spring. There's our, that's a nice spring. The spring must be stainless steel because it's not corroded at all. All right. We're going to leave the anti-reverse override in. No, that's really tight. So I'm going to take that out and remove it so that he's going to end up having to take that out anyway when he repaints this. So we'll go ahead and do our best if he wants it. I don't even know that he wants it yet. But if he does, I'm going to be happy to send it his way. I think I've been puzzling in my mind a way to fix that anti-reverse piece, and I might have a way, but for now I'm just going to maybe leave it in his hands and unless he doesn't want to tackle it. If he doesn't want to tackle it, then I'll mess with it. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it alone, or do it myself, but otherwise I'm going to leave it alone and send it his way. Oh, that one's bound in there pretty tight. Pretty tight. Okay. So, please don't snap off as I pull and twist. Okay, that's moving the spring up out of, okay, now the spring just let go. It goes up in that hole. Most of these, when you take them out like that, have a spring that is bent over and looped. This one did not. So we definitely want to see about getting that back like it belongs. Okay, we'll have to clean the corrosion off of this aluminum shaft. It's very rough. We'll clean that up, clean it out, and I'll clean out the holes here. Yeah, look at that. Can you see how bad they corroded that is in there? Yeah, this is a prime candidate for Ken. He likes to take corroded, ugly reels and fix them. I think this is a really good candidate for him. Let's go ahead. Let's break that free first with a common. Okay, this is going to be another one of those bearings that doesn't want to come out. And some people just don't seem to have this problem. I seem to. I'm not going to automatically resort to the slide hammer. I'm going to start off by attaching the rotor, putting the nut back on, and seeing if we can't get this to come off. No, I'm afraid he's putting a lot of stress side to side on that. So we are going to go ahead and resort to the slide hammer. Chris should like this. He likes the slide hammer. Let's see. I'm going to put this piece on simply to give the slide hammer a larger surface area to hit on instead of just on the nut. Okay, all right, so we got that cog back on there. I'm gonna slide this in here, and let's see how it goes. Wow, it's really in there. Better put my thumb around this. Out it comes. All right. Okay, bearing come out. that off. That off. There is a bushing here with a shim. The shim goes on top, which I'm surprised by that. I would have thought it went under, but that's not how it's coming off. Okay. And there is our pinion. And the pinion's actually in pretty good shape. I think the pinion's got a bit of wear on it, but I think it'll be okay. When you add all of the damage up to this reel, though, there's a lot here to deal with. So let's well, and we haven't even looked at this. This is all corroded and bound in too. So let's go ahead. Let's get these parts over here out of the way, and then we'll run through this spool real quick. Or it's not well, we haven't done. Yeah, the spool's done. Let's run through this rotor real quick and see what's going on with it. Let's try unscrewing the screw off the bail wire first. Okay, it's got a plastic washer under the head. It's got a lot of corrosion inside. Let's take this part off. Okay, there's the roller, and yes, there's a lot of corrosion there as well. So, yeah, this reel has definitely seen, I believe, salt water. All right, let's come around to this side and unscrew this one. It's not often you guys get to see this screwdriver at play. These are nice wide open screws on this thing. Okay, there's that. Okay, doesn't seem to be any stretch or distortion on the bail wire. It seems okay. Let's go ahead and slip this back on here for now so that these parts stay together, and it will go into the cleaner that way. Okay. All right. Let's take the trip lever part. Yeah, this is the look at. I don't know if you could see it, but dust shot up out of that when I did that. Lever part. Yeah, this is the look at. All right. Let's take the bottom half off first, if it will come off. Okay. Again, a lot of corrosion in there. All right, I'm gonna put my thumb over top of that plate. That plate goes up underneath, and we're gonna unscrew this screw on this trip lever. All right. Now, I've worked on these before that had this. Where did it go? There it goes. See this little pin? This little pin goes on top of that spring right there for that part. And that's that bail release. So let's get that out of the way. And it's got some corrosion going on with it too. So I'll set that over there. Now we can pop this up, and we'll see the scissor style spring. It's underneath. There it is. And it's just old corrosion, folks. It's keeping this from tripping properly. Okay, if you have one of these that is not in such horrible shape, this will still be a way to take this thing apart, clean it, service it, and get it all back together. This one, I'm going to put it all back together, and then I'm going to send it to Ken if he wants it. So let's be careful as we pop this off, because we don't know what kind of a spring might be under here for this trip lever. Yep, there is a spring. See the spring right here? Okay, I'm gonna put my thumb over that. I don't know if you can see that, but let's bring it in just a little bit. I'm gonna put my thumb over top of that spring, and then we're gonna hook in behind it here and lift this up and out, or try to anyway. It didn't come out. Okay. push it out from underneath. But watch that spring, it's still trying to shoot out. And what I'm going to do is run a straight pin through it to keep it from popping out all the way. Okay. Go ahead and try to push this out the rest of the way. There we go. All right. Now, take that spring out. Look at the corrosion in there. That is not dried grease, that is corrosion. Okay. I'm going to take this spring here. And we're going to slide it on this straight pin, or safety pin. And we're going to slide this one on the safety pin. And we're going to put this one on the safety pin. And this one. And this one. All right, now all of them are contained on one safety pin. That's a lot of little springs, and we'll put them into the parts cleaner that way. All right, some of these parts I'm gonna clean by hand, like this one. But others are gonna go into my parts basket here. And they're gonna get a double cleaning. One is gonna be in mineral spirits, and the other cleaning is going to be in vinegar to try to take the rust off. And what did this go to? Oh, okay, this goes to the handle. I don't think it needs to go in there. The handle seems to be okay. Or I'll tell you what, no, the handle needs some cleaning too. Okay, we'll open that like that. And we'll put that in there. All right. Put that in. And this guy here, okay, the shim does not need to. We know where that goes. And this guy here looks horrible. He's going in. And we'll use the mineral spirits to try to clean the oil and grease off, and then we'll come back with pieces like this and put them in vinegar and try to clean that off. All right, this body I'm going to clean by hand. I don't want to mess up the paint on this side. He does repaint things, but I don't want to tear this up. It's really nicely done, and I'm going to keep that trying to look as nice as it can for him. Let's go ahead and hang the slide hammer back up until next time I need it. All right, and I think that's going to do it. All these parts are going to go over in the parts cleaner. And this one needs to go in the parts cleaner, but it's too small. So it's going to fall through the basket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this little ball I've got. I'm going to put that part in there. And I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and put these two shim washers in there too. And the nut. And all the springs. And let's close that up like so. And drop that ball into the basket. And now all that is going to go into the parts cleaner. And I'll turn all the parts are basically clean now. And the only one that really is the problem is this one right here. And it's still broken, and I have been unable to get this to come off of the shaft. But I'm not going to take it down any further than this. I'm not going to try to cut it off or anything. I'm going to turn around and give it to Ken like that. And we're going to send it off and see what Ken does. Ken says that he can make this part right here. And that'll be an interesting see. So that excites me to see that done. Or the possibility that could be done. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and start reassembling this. We're going to start off with the rotor. I'll start off over here. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't quite get it all cleaned out. I got a little bit of grease right here that I didn't see before. All right. Now I think I got it all. All right. We're going to start off by putting this guy back in. He sits right in here like this. Well, before we set him in there, let's go ahead and apply some grease in there where he's going to ride. And now we have our load of springs over here. And one of them has managed to migrate its way all the way around to the other side. That's pretty cool. All right, we're going to take these off. Be careful not to let it shoot. Okay, we've got this one. Now, do we know what this one does? This one goes to the anti-reverse bar. Okay. This one is the trip lever, or the bail trip. So we got him over here. This short one right here is going to go on the other side of this rotor. Goes where that little pin goes. Speaking of that little pin, I had put that thing in here and this popped open, so I bet that thing's laying in the bottom of that basket over there. Okay, there's this spring. That's the one we're gonna use right here, and this one goes on our anti-reverse. Okay, I've got to go find that pin real quick. Well, it took me a rubber glove and some searching around in there, but I managed to find it. It was in the tank, and I do not want to reach into that much mineral spirits, so I used a rubber glove, and we got our pin back. We don't need him yet, but we do have it back. Okay, so let's get back to this. We have a longer spring. Here's our longer spring, and he's going to go into this. Now let's go ahead and grease this piece as well. We greased the facing that it's going to rub on. We greased all of this, but we hadn't quite greased this yet. Now what we're going to do, we want to sit this down in there, but we've got to be able to put that spring back in. Okay, so we're going to set the spring into that hole, push it over, and do not let it fly out. There we go. Okay, I'm not happy with the way the spring's sitting just yet. Let's see if we can bump it over just a little bit. There we go. Okay, and now I believe that the spring itself could benefit from a little bit of grease because it has to go up inside that hole. There. Now it's sliding nicely. All right, we're going to put this panel back on. It goes on this side right here. It's going to hold that trip release in place. Okay, I'm going to go to the other side now. And this side, this is the side that's going to have this little pin. And we're going to put that spring in there like that. And let's go ahead and grease where the spring rides, like so. And let's start off with the big spring. Let's put him in first. Okay, the short end of this is going to go over here and go into this hole. Let's zoom this in just a little bit so you can see it better. Okay, I don't know if you can see that hole here. There's a hole right there, and that's where that spring's going to go into, right into that hole. Okay, and then the rest of this is going to sit up here like this. Okay, with that in place, we can go ahead and set this plate back on, the side cover, and put the screw back in. Greased inside the hole where the spring's going to sit. Let's go ahead and set this spring into that hole. And now we've got this little pin that goes into that hole. And be careful, you don't want to send this thing flying. Okay, there you go. He's spring loaded, ready to fly out at any moment. So now we're ready to put this part back on. And I tried to get as much of this corrosion out of here as I could, but it still doesn't look all that great. I put it in the vinegar. The roller has to be able to roll against that, And I think it will, but it just ain't the best looking I've ever seen. But remember, this is going to go in for a restoration back in. So, okay, we're in this tag end right here of this spring is going to go into this hole right here. So we'll set that into place right there. And then we're going to bring this around, and we've got to keep that little there we go. We've got to keep that little pin straight up and down. Like that, as best we can. Okay, doesn't seem to want to go down. There, now it's down. All right, now we'll bring this around, get it over the top of that, and then let's get it all to line up over the hole and get it to hold in place while we install this screw. There we go. And there's our pin right there, which we can push down and it allows it to come past. Okay. And you know what? That's probably, you know what? I think we're going to take this off and put it on that way and see if that doesn't make it easier. Hang on. Without all that fighting, let's try that. Okay. Take out the screw. Take this off. Okay. Let's line the pin up on the spring. Let's align the hole and the wire like so, and then bring this around all the way over the top like this so that we're taking the tension off like that. Put the screw in. Oh, pin fell out. Got to keep the pin straight. I think this is going to be the answer. Okay. Bring this over, line it up like so, without having to fight the spring. Yeah, we're not having to fight the spring. Then when this comes around, there it goes. It's in. Okay, you can push the button. It drops around. There we go. That was much easier. All right. Now, we're going to come back to this side. This is the one I'm concerned about, is the threads seem to be just a little gummed up on this. And I've cleaned them up best I can. We're going to put this side together now. We're going to take this roller off, and we made sure it was clean underneath now. And we're going to put a drop of oil on this side. Put the roller in, and now let's go back and screw this in. And we're not going to put it all the way in yet. We're just going to mostly screw it in. We're going to stop at that point. Now we're going to look at the alignment on this piece over here and see how well it aligns. It's not too bad. We're going to have to adjust. There we go. That's pretty good right there. That puts the bail pretty much where it goes. Okay, set it back in place. Let's get it over top of the hole. Put the screw in. Okay, let's go ahead now and tighten this down the rest of the way so it's not loose and it's not. And it turns. That's good. All right. Got that. We're going to go back to the body now. And let's reinstall the pinion. To make some people happy, we'll go ahead and grease the pinion gear. Okay. We're going to slip that in, but before we do, we're going to take our bearing, which remember we had to take this bearing out with a slide hammer. Well, now the bearing fits on just fine. And let's see if it will go into the housing just fine. In the body, I did clean the hole out. Tell you what, let's pull it back out and let's clean the hole out one more time. It should just come on out now, not have to use a slide hammer to get it out this time. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Apparently I didn't clean that out sufficiently, so let's take a screwdriver and kind of scrape around the inside of it a little bit. See if we got some corrosion in there that we got to get rid of. All right, let's try this again now. We're going to set this back in here. Before we do, let's go ahead and put some oil around where the bearing's going to fit. Set this back in. Get it to line up. And push the bearing. And yeah, this time the bearing went right in. Okay. So we're going to install the bearing retainer. And remember how corroded this thing was. Well, it's pretty heavily pitted. It is aluminum, but it did get pretty heavily pitted. Okay, we're going to put the screws in. All right. Next part we're going to put in is going to be this anti-reverse override lever. And we're going to slide it in from the front. Before we do, we're going to go ahead and grease it up. Try to prevent any this corrosion that was on it before. It didn't seem to have any grease on it before. It just was put in dry and had lots of corrosion on it. I'll slide this down through. And just about the time we're ready to put it in the hole down here, we're going to stop. I'm going to come get this spring. Okay, and we're going to slide this spring up from the bottom, up into that hole. And now, we're going to bring this around like so. And watch what we're going to do. We're going to bring it up, get it lined up in the hole, and then push this back down. Now, the only problem with doing it this way is it's going to have a tendency to want to pop back up. Okay? And when you do it also with this way, yeah, there we go. There. Okay. Now, yeah, see how it pops back up? I got it down in there, and then all of a sudden, see it, and then it's going to pop right back out again. Okay, so you got to hold it in while you come back and install the end knob, which is right here. Put that on. And now this screw that I tried to put in the wrong spot a while ago goes right here. Oh no, it popped out while I wasn't looking. Okay, it come out of the hole. So, unless it broke out the hole, and I don't think it almost looks like it broke the hole. Hope it didn't. Let's find out. And that's exactly what happened. That pot metal broke away. Let me clean that off so you can see. All right, right there is where that spring is supposed to go in, right there, and it broke away. It's such thin, crappy pot metal that it just broke away. Just corrosion, too much corrosion. All right, I'm gonna put this in without the spring for now. Ken, you might be able to solder that in some way or braze it and then re-drill the hole. That's on you, brother. It's starting to be a bit much. So we'll go ahead and slide that in. Moving on into the non-economical repair position. All right, now this piece here is going to go on, and it goes on. I'm pretty sure I got it the right way, like that. Okay, and then nope, it's missing two pieces. Okay, one is this sleeve that goes on there, and then the next one is this shim that goes on there. Then goes this anti-reverse cog, like so. Now, I'm going to back this out just a little bit so we can hopefully keep it all in the picture while we're doing this. Okay, this guy's going to go on here, like so, and eventually that's going to be over behind that, but we're going to start off without it back there. Okay, and this guy's going to go on here like so, but it has to hook through there like that. There we go. And then the screw goes on. And then this should move easily, and it does. And it should be spring loaded, which it will be as soon as we bring this little tag end right here around and drop it over this post right here, like that. Now it's spring loaded. There's your anti-reverse. Okay, the anti-reverse override is here, and that turns anti-reverse off. But the spring that's supposed to hold it in place is not there. So, because it broke. That spring didn't break, but this piece, this pot metal piece here did. So, it's nothing like sending you a challenge, is there, Ken? All right, next, we've got that together. Let's go ahead. I believe we are ready at that point to put the rotor back on. So we'll set that in place, like so. And then install the nut. In place yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with the assembly process and see where we get. All right, we're going to install the main gear. Let's go ahead and grease it. Let's go ahead and slide that in like that. We're going to oil the axle shaft. And I really wish it had a better axle shaft, but it really doesn't. So, okay, move that around a little bit in there to get it nice and lubricated. All right, now we're going to come in with this piece. This is our crosswind block, and we're going to set it in here. And the flat has to go up on the axle shaft to fit in there. Oh, before we do that, let's go ahead and put some grease on the bottom of this so that when it sits down in there, it can slide. All right, we've got that in there. Let's go ahead and reinstall the locking screw. Let's go ahead and grease the back side of the gear where the crosswind arm is going to ride. I'm going to put some on the pin for the crosswind arm, and then slip the crosswind arm on here and pull the axle shaft out until it lines up with the hole. There we go. Got that lined up. And just so we didn't scrape any grease off of there, let's go ahead and grease the back side of this. Put on this shim washer over the top of that. And we're ready to put the side plate back on with the screws. I'm going to put a drop of oil on each of these screws just to help keep the threads from getting gummed up. And then I'm going to run the screws mostly in with my ratchet. Okay. Once I got them mostly down, finish them off with a screwdriver. All right. I'm not going to put this on there because I think it's going to get torn up if I do. It's going to go in the parts bag with that spring. And let's go ahead and oil our clicker, even though there's nothing there for it to click to. And we're going to slip this on. And then the top one will come in, drop on, and then our drag knob will go on. And I'm not going to over tighten it because that drag on that is broken. All right, now let's reinstall our handle. Now this handle's been through the parts cleaner, trying to loosen it up a little bit. And we're going to come back and we're going to add some oil in here and in here. So that, yeah, there we go. Slide this in. Let's put the screw back in on this side now. This is tailor-made to what Ken asked me for. It is a old, crusty, nasty reel that I don't want to spend any more time on. That's exactly what he said, or pretty close to what he said. He said he was looking for severely corroded reels that were either severely corroded or broken or both, I think he said, and that's exactly what we have here. Ken, if you decided you don't want me to send it to you, I won't, but I think you can have a lot of fun with it. It's definitely going to be a challenge for you to fix it. And I'm going to keep these two pieces out of it because that's broken inside there. And that's it. We're going to officially declare this a fail. Ken may one day declare it a success. Young Martin's Reels is going to call it a fail. And again, like I said, this was one of my eBay purchases. I thought I was getting a pretty good deal because I paid little or nothing for it. But it turns out it was not a good deal because this thing really had a large variety of problems. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Tell me what you didn't like. And for now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.